dfzradio.com.
Feeling so high. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Cook up that hydro make me feel high. Feeling so high. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Cook up that hydro make me feel high. Feeling so high.
Oh, why? Hello there. It's Halloween at DFZ Radio Farm to Table Studios. Hanging out. We're going to get wasted and talk about some waste today. So, happy Halloween, motherfuckers. It's one of my favorite holidays. I always like to spread the trick or some treats. And we're here to keep you up on all the cannabis trends, news, and events in the cannabis industry. And today, we got a really good show lined up for you. We got Gary coming in. He's going to be talking about cannabis and waste solutions. It's one of those things that we don't think about a lot. Cannabis facilities can produce up to 200 pounds of waste a day. And they're going to tell you the proper way to dispose of that, keep you out of the BCC's fucking eyes. And we got a magic butter machine to give away too. So tune in, DFZ Radio. You're in for a good show. Sit back, let me entertain you. And then also, Southeast Edibles. I can't do this, the mass muffin with my voice.
What happened,
But it was fun while it lasted. But Southeast Edibles, we're going to review some edibles because we are the only show offering edible reviews, edible news, and interviews with the top brands in the industry. So, as always, we like to start off with some news. So let's keep everybody up to date. Let's go out to some California news, and then we'll go to some Michigan news. And then the big thing that struck me right out the rip from this story is that terminally ill patients weren't allowed to receive gifts after Prop 64 went in. So if you were a dispensary, you couldn't just give out a sample to a terminally ill patient because it's against the law to give free product away. So gifting cannabis to terminally ill patients becomes a tax-exempt thing in California. So terminally ill Californians caught a break last month when Gavin Newsom signed a bill that makes medical marijuana donations tax-exempt. So starting March 1st, 2020, as much as $53 million in so-called compensation or compassionate funds for medical cannabis donations could go to the needy. And the state analyst estimates that, and that it's enough to be about 125,000 patients, about 1 gram of flower per day, every day for a year. And activists say they're happy with the new law, and if it does fall short of what they were hoping for, but it's a good start. It's a really good start. And Sweet Leaf Collective said it feels good. This is what democracy is all about. And it's an oversight because of Prop 64, and they need for Brownie Mary and Dennis Perone Act. It was sponsored by State Senator Scott Weiner, and it came about with the opening of California's legal adult use era in the 2018. So from 1996 up until 2017, you could easily give cannabis away. There was no problem with that. It was completely in the law for medical, you know. But there was no way under Proposition 64 that California people could gift cannabis. So Prop 64 called for the end on 2019. So for those of age 21 and over, they can only legally gift each other up to an ounce at a time, which is it's a personal possession limit in the public. But state licensed medical and adult use stores could not give away cannabis. So under Prop 64, they made it hard for them to do that. So the Brownie Mary and Dennis Perone Act, it re-enables charitable giving of a cannabis product by literally recoding the state's license track and trace system. The bill calls for $375,000 in state software upgrades to create a tax-free compassion class of cannabis in the adult use supply chain. So at the farm side of the supply chain, the new law exempts growers from about $9.25 per ounce cultivation tax on an all cannabis need for needy patients.
Right.
So that's huge. I mean, there was a big fuckery when that 64 went into effect. Everybody was like, legalize cannabis, not thinking about the repercussions. That was one of those ones that nobody thought about, the ill patients that couldn't get the free.
Is it 1 ounce per day or 1 ounce per hour?
It was 1 gram per day.
What if I give you an ounce now and then an hour later I give you an ounce? What is the time limit?
You ever heard the take two hits and call me in the morning? Yeah, that's where that got started. But yeah, that's a crazy thing to think about, that legalizing cannabis made it harder for the people who needed it the most to get free donations. Ain't that a conundrum?
They got to pay now.
So let's go out to Michigan. Michigan's going to start taking applications for their recreational first licenses starting business on Friday. So marijuana journeys from reefer madness to the mainstream product of store shelves, and is taking another historic step in Michigan. And this article's from MLive, written by Gus Burns. The state licensing office, called the Marijuana Regulatory Agency, is set to begin accepting recreational marijuana business applications at 12:01 on November 1st. Hand-delivered applications may be dropped off at the agency's counter in Lansing, beginning at 8 a.m. So they want to know who's applying. You got to turn it in person. No digital applications accepted. Ain't that a bitch? Some of the first legal recreational marijuana shops, delivery companies, grow operations, and processors and event planners will be applying within the first 4 months. And the Marijuana Regulatory Agency expects to issue the first hit recreational licenses and businesses that are already approved to grow, sell, process, test, or transport medical marijuana by late November. However, the public likely won't be able to walk into a store and buy a joint or other marijuana products until months later, since there's currently zero supply of legal recreational marijuana. As growers first need a license for that, we know it takes like 90 days for a harvest. So, it's these rollouts are crazy. I mean, I remember it happened in Vegas first, or Colorado first, and then Vegas, and then you're like, for the first 3 months of regulation or recreation, there was no cannabis to be had at these places, and there's a line out the door. Well, Michigan, you're about to have that too. So you know what I hear when I hear that? The black market's going to be thriving in Michigan. That's it right there. That's a happy moment. So, and then we've also got some national news. Sales of marijuana edibles are up at least in 4 states in the wake of the vape health scare. So the vaping health crisis apparently has been good for the cannabis edible sector, a sign that consumers are funneling more money into infused products instead of vaporizers. Since the first vape-related death was reported in August, retail sales of edibles have climbed steadily in all 4 states, while those of vaping products have declined. Though the vaporizer market appears to be stabilizing and even rising in all but Washington, where they lost like 4 Chads in Washington. Sad moment of silence for Chad.
Don't need them.
And while edible manufacturers say they're not seeing a dramatic impact on sales yet, marijuana retailers are reporting that sales of infused products are up since the beginning of the vaping health scare that has sickened more than 1,600 people and killed about 36 Chads in the 49 states. According to the data provided by Seattle-based Headset, the share of cannabis sales captured by the edibles has increased steadily since October 6th and on in through Halloween, man. Colorado, Nevada, California, Washington all saw double-digit growth. So if you know the vape pens ain't good, the edibles must be. Well, fuck, it's crazy because in L.A. they got a different kind of problem. I'll take a minute out of the news just because I want to address this one. It's because it's wild. It's a really scary thing going out there. But people are lacing edibles at some these backyard sessions and events with shit that's not cannabis, and they're taking advantage of people when they get all drugged up.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And I mean, whether it's stealing their wallet or fucking gang raping in a fucking bad situation, it's just drugging people, and then taking advantage of them. That's a whole nother level of fucked upness that goes into that. So do your due diligence. If you're at one of these backyard events, especially it's a non-sanctioned event, it doesn't have the proper licensing to have these products there, at least do your due diligence on what you're eating from people. Ask the right questions, what kind of product went into this, where did you source it, is there anything other than THC or CBD I should be aware of? I mean, these are really crazy times in the edible industry. It is the wild, wild west out there. So know your product and watch out what you're getting in there. Now that edibles are becoming even more and more popular since you Chads are getting off the vape pens.
Would they tell you if they laced it with anything?
Well, I mean, would they? Right?
I threw some roofie in here, man.
Right.
You got me.
You know what? Got me. I was totally gonna get you later. It's a good point. So, and then into the world of hemp, out of New York. Soon, farmers across the country will be able to grow hemp under the auspicious U.S. Domestic Hemp Production Program, announced October 29th by the United States Department of Agriculture. The USDA went on to say, "We are always excited when there are new economic opportunities for farmers, and we hope the ability to grow hemp will pave the way for new products and markets," said U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue. Now, they said that requirements for licensing, records, maintenance, testing for THC levels, and the disposal of plants that do not meet the requirements will be established by the rules of the program. So they're going to come up with everything that has to do with regulating it now. So hemp production has resurged in the U.S. because of its increase in demand for products containing CBD. So the side product of the hemp, which is used for relieving pain, anxiety, certain medical conditions, and clinical trials have shown CBD to be effective as a treatment of epilepsy. So included in this program will be the enactment of the 2018 Farm Bill, which reclassified hemp and allowed for its growth. Now, hemp can be grown for, we know it can be used for many different products, but basically what this is going to be able to do is allow them to regulate it so they can get the ball rolling on things like using cannabis in food and stuff like that, because right now you can't even use the CBD in food. Right. So USDA getting involved, folks. The red tape and the bureaucracy is going to start flying. That's the news, according to Farm to Table Cannabis. Now, that was a little extended segment, but I think it was a good segue because it goes into what we are going to be talking about our guest this evening. And, waste is a huge factor in commercial cannabis production and hemp production. And as it stated in that article, until they can get that managed, that's just another one of the things that are going to be red tape for farmers that want to get started. So we got a guest here to talk about it. He's going to keep us educated on the waste products and everything that goes into, what their services provide. Because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, are you just coming to take my cannabis so you can go run it in your backroom Chad extraction lab? No, that's not what you do.
No, not on the record.
We're going to come back with Garrett, and we're going to talk about everything about cannabis and waste. DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis. We got a magic butter machine to give away and a prank call coming up.
I'm laughing at her. She's trying to roll. Can't roll a split for life.
DFZradio.com. Make sure you call in right now, 562-653-0707. That's 562-653-0707. We'll be back. DFZradio.com.
2 sugars and a wake and bake. 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 2 sugars and a wake and bake.
2 sugars and a wake and bake. I stuff the joint with my shoelace. I'm on the ground straight making cake. I smoke some to get my mind straight. A good look, I can forget your face. I really want you to come through my place. You sent a text and said I'm on my way. Getting late, I think that you should stay. 2 sugars and a wake and bake, but this time it's the very next day. From my window you can see the whole bay. They can't do it like me, no way. 3's up for that HBK, and it's rich city, nigga, not V8, where we need our money on time, not late, and we on the grind like every day. So it's 2 sugars and a wake and bake. That's what helps me relax my mind. Everything in slow motion, happening in due time. You not about your life, man, you lying. My stuff alright, my mind is on Zion. I be so high, touch clouds as I'm climbing 30,000 feet, yeah, that's my climate. 2 sugars and a wake and bake. 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 2 sugars and a wake and bake.
I smoke 2 joints to the face. I love the way it tastes. Man, I'm on. I blow OG and lemon tree. The joints on me, and it's too damn strong. Look, I don't really share, and I don't really care if it smell like weed when I put it in the air. I'm a California bear, West Coast cure. Fresh wax joint got me stuck on the chair. My stash look mean, my glass so clean. Roll big joints, white ash only. Yeah, me and Sue get stoned and laugh. And the S-Class Benz on hash. Plant a seed, let the weed grow. Hit the crowd, burn an ounce up. I'm on diesel, I'm in NY. Boy, I been high. In the club, 24 pre-rolls. Oh my, don't blow my high. Me and Kylie both know why. The good herb, why I need to be free. So vote legal in 216. Wake up and take a hit like me. 2 sugars and black coffee. Yeah, I get stoned in the AM. Fuck the club, roll up and stay in.
2 sugars and a wake and bake. 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 2 sugars and a wake and bake.
DFCRadio.com.
Hi, and welcome to Non-Specific Hydro.
Yeah, hey, I have a buddy of mine that was telling me about a great additive.
Okay, do you remember the name?
Yeah, his name's Steve. He's a good buddy.
No, the product.
No, he told me it was a super concentrated organic enhancer. Comes in a yellow bottle.
Well, it sounds like he's talking about Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics.
I don't think that was the name, but he also told me it was a vegan bioplant stimulator that contained vitamins, plant sugars, amino acids, seaweed extract.
Yeah, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
I don't think that's it, man. He told me it was something like Dora Vicious Flush or something, and he said it was like an organic supplement that could also be used in vegging or flowering, and that it was compatible with hydro soil and cocoa.
Yes, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
Oh, hey, man. I just remembered what it's called. It's Floralicious Plus.
Oh, good. I was drawing a blank.
Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics. Ask for it by name.
Yeah! DFCRadio.com.
If I'm rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt. If I'm rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt. Rest in peace, Bob Marley. My blunt got a cold cut, Steve Harvey.
We back, DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis. We got Eazy Waste Management in the building. Gary's here. He's going to keep everyone up to date on all your cannabis waste needs, because the BCC is a motherfucker. You get caught slipping, and you lose your entire fucking business. But before you get to talk to him, we're going to have some fun with one of our fucking favorite hydro stores out here. And as always, we got to keep them up on the latest questions they might receive out there. And since it is the Halloween season, I figured we'll give them a little prank call over to Discount Hydroponics and have a little fun with them in Riverside.
There you go.
Little whales in the sound line. You gonna whale hunt next week for us, Moby Dick?
We well hunting.
Ahab over here.
Well, how can I help you?
Yes. Are you open after dark?
No.
What time do you close? I want to grow some bud.
We close at 5:30.
5:30. That's not going to work for me. I don't go out before sun goes down. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, my man.
Well, what about pest control? Do you have anything that doesn't have garlic?
Not at the moment.
I really need to grow some trees. I've got problems. I got 1, 2, 3 mites. Is this John?
Nah.
Oh, John, this is Devin, the Hydro Chef. I'm prank calling you on DFZ Radio. Are you there?
I think he hung
I
up.
think he hung up. He didn't like that. It's all good. We're going to send you lunch on the studio. I'm going to call you guys back later, let you know it's all love. Thanks for being such a good sport, whoever that was, not John. All right. Oh, he's back. He's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
All right. So let's get to the interview of the hour. What is good, Gary?
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you for having me.
So introducing Eazy Waste Management. It's a unique situation because normally we're talking to people about growing cannabis, not
Throwing it away.
So it's a unique opportunity, and it's not a lot of people doing it right now too.
Right.
You're the first of your kind that I've heard of, especially in Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a partner in the company.
Yep.
And you saw an opportunity and you launched this. So do you come from a background in cannabis? First and foremost, welcome, but how did you get into the cannabis industry?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved it, so that's one of those. Used to work at a bank, actually, so threw up the suit and just decided to hop into the industry. We saw a need, saw a hole, and decided to fill it.
So opportunities came, they shined, and you see the opportunity for waste management. Now, are you a grower yourself by trade?
No, not personally.
Okay, but the law's changing as they are. You've seen this as a ripe industry to jump into. Now, let me ask you this: not coming from the industry of growing before, how do you approach a situation where a company's making waste and they need an opportunity to get rid of it? Like, how do you start that conversation not coming from the cannabis industry?
Oh, man, it took a lot of research. I actually started growing on my own just to kind of have fun, see what it's all about. Learned a lot about the industry.
Kill some plants?
Actually, no.
I learned a lot from killing plants. I found as one of those things. It was never a joyful moment when I killed a plant, but I always realized, oh, okay, I fucked up. That's a learning moment
Exactly.
there.
That's how you learn. I actually snapped the top off. I want to say about like 6 inches off my plant one time because I was trying to train it. Just like, oh, it hurts so bad.
You had those heavy hands, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Watch out, those plants will catch those hands. Now, getting into the cannabis industry got to be a little bit intimidating at first because you're going to some of these grows. These guys have been doing it for years, and you're trying to convince them to give you their trash.
Right. And it's kind of the biggest thing, right? It's you go in there and these guys, man, they smell bullshit real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the first things we try to do is make sure we're not bullshitting, right? We learned all the regulations. I just want to say we spent about 8 months to a year just kind of researching the industry, what kind of processes generate waste, what goes on, what to do with it responsibly so you're not kind of harming the environment even more.
Because, I mean, from every aspect of the cannabis commercial industry, from packaging to edibles to trimming to, cleaning, there is a waste product that you guys are equipped and licensed by the state of California to dispose of.
And everything that touches cannabis is technically considered cannabis waste, right? Using sponges, your soils, the gloves you use, everything like that.
Listen up.
So why is that important? Because a lot of people that don't know about the Bureau of Cannabis Control, explain why it's such a needed process that's not offered.
Yeah, definitely. So the biggest reason we found is you don't hear about people throwing weed away, right? That's the last thing I ever thought of. So the reason people are throwing this as waste is because it's no good. It's expired, there's mold, there's a big amount of pesticides, number of reasons, right? So if you got some guy dumpster diving in your space, he gets sick, man, that's on you.
Or it goes to the black market and gets someone else sick.
Exactly.
So, there's a moral high ground to it too, but it's also worth money at the same time, right? Because some of the guys out there, and we all know some chads that would take some questionable cannabis and someone else's trash, if you will, and turn it into their treasure.
Right.
So how do you avoid those pitfalls of of taking someone's trash and wanting to turn it into something, or how do you get paid off of that in a different way?
Yeah, so we've actually considered different uses, not to kind of rebrand it and sell it as our own shake or trim. What we do is for most of the BCC and MCSB clients, we render it unusable and unrecognizable right on site. So you mix it with some kind of sawdust wood chips, and nobody's going to smoke that, right? So that's what we do before we take it out of the premises. All of our trucks have full surveillance on them. That's not required, but for us it is.
An added layer of comfort for the client.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not touching any of your stuff. We took it as waste. We're taking it straight to composting. That's a big thing that we're, really proud of. Everything we do stays out of landfills as much as we can. and just to kind of reuse it, right? Turn it into like a compost material that could be reused in our environment.
Because you see, and I'm sure the possibilities are endless, but
Mhm.
I mean, you're seeing a lot more things like this, like hempcrete
Right.
and fibrous material from cannabis being reused and
Mhm.
repurposed.
Yeah.
How are the regulations towards that? Like, are you allowed to, I don't know, take waste from hemp facilities?
Mhm. Yep.
Are you allowed to turn that into T-shirts?
No, unfortunately. So right now the rules basically dictate that you have to take it away as waste. So as soon as you render it unusable, it's garbage at that point, right? We've been looking into some ways to maybe take out the waste, turn it into biofuel, because we don't want to waste our waste, right? You take it in, you can make paper. Some people are making cars out of this stuff, which was really cool. Saw that on Jay Leno's garage. And some people are actually turning it into pig feed, which is something really exciting. We were
Now,
looking
I want to
into.
eat those pigs.
Exactly.
I want to eat the pig that was eating the cannabis fodder.
It doesn't get you high.
But I bet those pigs are relaxed as shit though.
Oh man, yeah, no worries, and they get a lot fatter, as you can
I bet,
imagine.
right? Yeah, it
Always
plumps them
got
up.
the munchies.
So, when it comes to the process, you guys deal with hemp and cannabis facilities.
Yep.
Now, is there is there ever a situation where you would be able to answer a call from a black market cultivator and they needed to dispose of things and they wanted to be a responsible human being and do it correctly? Or is that out of the question?
Morally, we would want to, right? Because as opposed to just throwing this in their dumpster or just leaving it on the side of some road, as we've seen, we'd want to waste it for them because at least they're doing something, legally. What's crazy to me, though, is they call it the black market, but even if you're a legal California shop, you're still illegal in the eyes of the federal government.
So we're all black market,
We're all
baby.
black market, yeah,
I'm
exactly.
a black market.
Some guys just wear a suit, that's it.
I get it.
So, yeah.
Some of those suits are more crooked than others.
Oh, man, the most. So that we do want to work with them, but unfortunately, if they're not licensed, we can't because they're in a legal business.
So, that being said, you're strictly in the California legal market.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you deal just in leaf tissue, or are these stalks and root material? How does it work? What can we not give you?
We'll take anything, man. Yeah. So we don't deal in commercial or residential waste, but anything that has to do with cannabis, we do take.
Root balls.
Root balls. Yeah.
Medium attached to it still. With soil attached to it still?
Yeah, everything. So the biggest thing is the hazardous waste, which you would be like, what the fuck? There's
runoffs,
don't know
bad
if you're
shit,
cussing. Yeah, but if there's like the pesticides, there's, testing labs use methanol, so different types of acid in their process. So those we contract out just because it's a nightmare dealing with the EPA and everything like that. But we do touch everything else.
But you offer that service through you, and it's subleased out.
Exactly. We find somebody because you don't want to deal with 3-4 different waste guys because most of the hazardous guys we've seen don't deal with the cannabis. So we kind of just manage the whole relationship for you.
So you folks are the people that get called when there's an emergency.
Oh, absolutely. We actually got.
You are the cleanup crew. You are like them when there's a murder, and you guys got to come in and clean up the dead plants and shit.
Yeah, we'll do it, man. We'll do it.
So, I'm sure you can't talk about some of the clients you've worked with, but tell me a story about a call you've gotten where you've been able to help a client where they were maybe minutes away from not being able to be compliant, but you helped them stay compliant.
Yeah, definitely. We actually got 3 of those recently. One of them, the guy said the BCC literally came 3-4 days before, took a look at his waste management plan that his consultant just wrote up. Kind of just went through, and he's like, none of this makes sense with what you're telling me, right? Because he's not thinking about his waste. He has no waste management plan. It's just something they wrote down. So he called me. I went through, literally dropped off new barrels, made sure everything was to code, wrote him a new waste management plan that was literally what we're doing. Everything's secured. Everything's in his cameras. So he was literally saved.
And you wrote this into his SOP.
Exactly. Everything was done correctly, not just a cookie-cutter approach. We write all of our waste management plans directly for each client.
So it's customized to your approach for each client.
Exactly. We put their site plans, we mark
because a place
down.
in the desert's not going to be the same as the place out in the urban areas.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you've seen the lengths. What are some of the craziest lengths you've seen these commercial grows go to keep their trash away from the local population? Because I'm sure these fuckers are dumpster diving.
Oh, for sure. We had a couple guys, like, they literally had no room, so they built like this entire kind of warehouse shed thing just to put in their waste area, because it has to be secured away from the public.
Just head to toe with waste.
Head to toe with waste, yeah. Because you literally have to have a completely separate place for the waste. Can't be accessed by anybody but your employees or us, apparently.
Now, what kind of licensing did you yourself and your team have to go through to be able to handle cannabis waste?
Yeah, so we're licensed, I want to say permitted through the city, all the local counties that we operate in. You have to kind of pay them their tax for operating in their city. As crazy as it is, the waste management still kind of is mafia run, if you want to think about it that way. So anyone you're dealing with, it's like exclusive franchises. You know, you got to call them, make sure you can operate on their territory. You want to talk to the local cities, make sure some of them take 10, 20% of your gross profits, things like that. So
how long until, these guys want those contracts? The big waste management companies.
Well, what's funny about that is it's still federally legal, and those are kind of national companies. So that's kind of why we got our start. A couple of our friends called, and they had nobody, right? Waste management doesn't want to touch cannabis. It's huge fines if you get caught on federal roads. You can't cross state lines if they get caught with it. It's just something they don't want to deal with. And up until the last little bit, they couldn't get paid by these guys unless you're taking a briefcase full of cash, right? So they just wouldn't touch it. That's how companies like us kind of sprung up.
So I've got some questions I want to ask you about, whether or not something has to be disposed of properly and stuff like that. But before I get into that, I got to take this call. This guy's been so patient. Let's see what we got. And we got Andrew calling in from New York. What's up, Andrew? You're on the Farm to Table Cannabis Show, DFZ Radio, High Times TV.
Hey, how's it going, man?
What's good, Andrew? I can't call it. Just hanging on like the day before Halloween, the day before the holiday blues.
I do understand that feeling.
What you got going on, man? What you going to be for Halloween?
I am a giant medical marijuana card in the state of New York.
That's what's up. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
The funniest I saw was somebody threw some tattoos on their face and called them Tekashi 6ix9ine, and they said they were a snitch. Yeah, so keep them guys away from your plants.
Yeah.
What do you got going on, Andrew?
Well, my question was for cooking. I would like to know what the ideal temperature and time would be for decarbing your cannabis, and does it matter a difference between sativa, indica, density, etc.?
I'm going to answer the last part of that question first, because I think it's one of the most interesting parts of your question, because I've found that whether it's sativa or indica or hybrid or what, I cannot tell when it comes to edibles. It just doesn't. Maybe it's my metabolism. Everyone's different. But me personally, I couldn't tell if a edible was made from an OG Kush or if it was made from a glue or it was made from a Blue Dream. I couldn't, other than the taste, right? Other flowers taste better, but if we're talking strictly off like a high feeling,
right?
I wouldn't be able to tell. Now, when it comes to the ideal temperature and length of time, I've found that 212, 220 degrees for about 20 minutes to a half an hour is the is the Goldilocks zone for activating the psychoactivities in the cannabis. But I've also heard people going lower temperatures when they're steeping, because you're trying to not get – some people don't want a lot of that flavor in there. So the harder if you were going to be boiling it and try to decarboxylate it in a boil situation, maybe a lower rolling boil for a longer time might be more effective than just pumping it really hard, because you're going to get a lot of that flavor out of the cannabis. Whether or not you want that or not, it's up to you. So I think, to answer your questions, 220 degrees for about 20 minutes is the standard.
Perfect.
But you know what?
Longitude.
We're going to shoot you a magic butter machine for asking such a good question and showing some interest in the network.
Yeah.
And we're going to ship that out to you from Florida, so it'll take a little bit to get to you. But we appreciate you calling in, and we appreciate you spreading the word and educating people about dosing responsibly and cooking at home with cannabis and enjoying all that this wonderful plant has to offer.
Absolutely. Hey, man, I really appreciate it.
Fuck
and
yeah.
Don't forget, everybody, titrate up, right?
What do you say? Titrate up?
Titrate up.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
All the newbies.
It went over my head. I guess I'm a Chad.
Well, thanks a lot, man. I
Thanks, my
appreciate that.
dude. Cheers. Happy Halloween. All
You too,
right.
guys. Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
So before we get into what situations call for what kind of disposal and whether or not it has to be thrown away, we got to take a quick commercial break. I'm gonna get lit because I'm way funner when I'm high, and we'll be back. Farm to Table Cannabis. Call in 562-653-0707. We got some gardening samples to give away too.
That's right. DFZRadio.com. We'll be right back.
Every day of the week. Rolling so fast you didn't see him coming your way. Turned around and there was a blunt up in your face. You must have thought that I was finished. The breeze is never stingy with the spinach. Rolling up some trees. You can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt. If I'm rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt.
I love the stickiest weed, cause I'm a Cali baby. Started from that chocolate tie from them early 80s. Now it's OG, a perfect mix with my OE. The shot of lean had a G moving slowly. Apparently, you ain't never smoked like me. Load these switches up like they was some magazines. I got some bad bitches rolling up blunts for me. Hop in the rotation, true story you can see. Even your bitch eyeballing wanna hit the tree. Smoking on weed, living life with my homie Breeze. I got that green thumb, I grow my own fucking weed. And if I got some problems, I'm hitting heavy tea.
Rolling up some trees. You can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt. If I'm rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt.
DFZRadio.com.
Launch crew, ready to reservoir.
What's the load factor, sir?
Bringing the Riser Blast liquid at 2 mils per gallon.
Okay, sir. We are loaded and ready to launch.
9.
Okay, men. It's time to blast off into the plant's root zone and into another galaxy of root growth.
Rhizoblast is a proprietary blend of seaweed and the single-celled algae chlorella. Chlorella's abundance of amino acids and minerals contribute to its value in hydroponics. The benefits used in Rhizoblast are explosive root growth, the use with any growing medium or hydro system, its ideal use for transplanting, and the enhancement of your plant vigor and fast-flowering plants. Let your plants have a blast and see a world of a difference with Rhizoblast from Botanicare. Check it out at www.botanicare.com.
I've been up 6 days.
They call me Peace Pipe Pablo. Call me Peace Pipe Pablo. I wanna kick it, but I ain't gotta kick it. Call me Peace Pipe Pablo. I don't know where that came from. I'm Peace Pipe Pablo.
Shout out to E-Zone.
Always fun. Always fun. So, we like to review edibles, not just talk about edibles. And this week, we've got Southeast Edibles. They're killing it. They got lots of different flavors, and they use like real Belgian chocolate too. So artisanal crafted products. Cocoa bean to bite is their slogan. And I myself, I like the dark chocolate. They got a milk chocolate and a coconut chocolate. Why don't you try one of those? I'm gonna try one of those, and we'll both give our honest opinion because edible reviews happens on the fly. We tell it like it is.
What's in this product?
So it's a CBD, cannabis, not cannabis, so it's just hemp CBD. You got a coconut version and a dark chocolate version.
No drugs in here, right?
Nope, 600 or just 60 milligrams of CBD only. No bath salts for you.
Damn it, what's the point?
What? Now, for a lot of people, dosing with the CBD and small bites, you'll see like 10 milligram per bite. What's nice is these are actually really potent. And the CBD, I'm a firm believer in. You can't put too much in your body. You know, like the more you can get, the better.
Oh, definitely.
Now, this dark chocolate, it's got a little bite to it. That's what I like about a dark chocolate. I don't want a dark chocolate that's, you know, easy to eat. I want it to give a little bit of that, you know, some of that floral taste. And then, what flavor did you get over there?
I got the coconut.
Now, is that sweet or is it kind of bitter?
It was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Milk chocolatey. I want to say it had. You didn't taste anything in there though, just the chocolate.
Yeah, and it wasn't gritty.
Not at all. No, it was pretty tasty.
So, Southeast Edibles, they come from a family of chocolate confectioners, and I mean, chocolatiers, they're a unique bunch. All right, in culinary school, there was like the bakers. And then there was like the chocolatiers, because those guys were just on another fucking level. Like there's talent that goes into being a chocolatier that's a little bit deeper than the baker. That's why bakers call chocolatiers for certain things. Now, they're doing it out of the Southeast, and CBD's huge right now. I mean, it's the number 3 search term on Google. It beat like holistic health. It beat freaking maternity. It beat a lot of fucking other things.
Sweet.
So CBD, if you want to check it out, check them on southeastedibles.com. And right now, if you check out on their website, you can use the Hydro Chef at checkout code, and you can save. And you can tell me what you think of it yourself, repost, and I'll get you entered for a chance to win a Magic Butter Machine. So go check out Southeast Edibles yourself, review their product, and you can win a Magic Butter Machine from Farm to Table Cannabis and the good folks over at Magic Butter Machine.
Yeah, just like that.
This product is Hydro Chef approved. I like it. What do you think, Gary?
I like it.
Not bad.
Good.
Doesn't suck.
Not at all.
As Anthony, as the late, great Anthony Bourdain would say, that doesn't suck. It's always such a weird way to compliment. I thought it was such a fucking gangster-ass thing he used to say to people. He'd be sitting there at some person's Vietnamese restaurant, and they're like, their whole life depends on this fucking review. And he'd say, nah, this doesn't suck. Let's go to the phone lines real quick. We got Steve calling from Iowa. What's up, Steve? You're on the line with Farm to Table Cannabis, the Hydro Chef, and Gary from Eazy Waste Management.
Hey, y'all.
Oh, I can't call it.
Calling to see how tough the instructions are on this machine. Is it simple enough for everybody to understand?
Oh yeah, it's so easy. A Chad could use it. Do you have any Chad or Chadleys or Brad? Even a Brad would work too.
Even a Brad, great. Yeah.
So they're a wild bunch. If you've ever encountered a Brad in their natural habitat, they know everything.
Hi, I'm Brad, and here, let me see that machine, bro. I'm going to show you how to use it right now. So, it's got 3 functions. It's basically time, temperature, and start. And me and my friend Chad, when we use this like to set it at like 220 degrees for the oil function for 1 hour and just hit start.
Right on.
Steve, you're
Sounds
a good
easy
sport.
enough.
But that's how Chad explains it. But it really is that simple. There's 3 functions on there. There's a temperature, there's a time, and there's like oil, butter, or tincture. It's that easy. You click it and it starts.
Okay,
212 and 220, right?
How much material do you need to start with?
That's another good question too. So it comes down to what you want for potency. All right, like if you want to have 1 thing of butter around so that you just use like a teaspoon of it and on some toast and that'll get you high, then go a whole ounce into a stick of butter. If you want to have several batches, medicate, microdose throughout the month, a little bit here, a little bit there, then go ahead and stretch out like a whole 32-ounce thing of butter on 1 ounce, on 1 stick. 1 ounce of cannabis, because then it's gonna temper it out a little bit. So it's all about what you want. But to make it easy on you, I'm gonna tell you, start off light. always start off light, because in cooking, and this, everyone listening to this, like your first day in cooking school, they tell you this: you can always add more, but you can't take it away.
True.
And when you're sitting on that couch and you're like, fuck, what did I do? That's the moment you're going to wish you could go back in time and take a little bit out.
Sure, great.
So, Steve, dude, do you have a magic butter machine currently from the last time you called?
No, I don't.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, this is a great opportunity.
Didn't you just give one away?
You know what? I did just give one away, but Magic Butter Machine are the best sponsors in the network, and it's situations like this, when you got such a good call, it warrants 2 play the freaking alarm, 2 shows an episode. Woo! Ultimate giveaway unlocked. You win, buddy.
You won.
Steve, I really salute you, man, because I want you to try this, educate, medicate, and teach people how to dose responsibly. So
and create.
Go back tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Listen to the replay of this show on YouTube or dfzradio.com or High Times TV. Listen to what I said about how to use it, and then when you get it in the mail, you'll be ready to be doing some can of butter whipping.
Awesome.
That's what's up, Steve. Well, thanks for calling Farm to Table Cannabis.
Spill in
We're
the
going to get
kitchen.
back to
Thank you very
Gary
much.
from Cannabis for Easy Waste Management and talk about how to handle it if you make some edibles and you don't know what to do with them. Thanks a lot for calling in, Steve. So these edibles we just tried are Hydro Chef approved, but what if somebody made some edibles and they weren't Hydro Chef approved? I mean, what do you do? Because you can't serve them to people and you can't give it to your fucking dog like you would when you fuck up in the kitchen. Is this where you guys come in?
Yeah. We take anything that hasn't passed testing. You know, if it gets returned and you got to dispose of the whole thing, we make sure to pick that up. We provide manifests that show we took, 200 pounds were rejected. We picked 200 pounds up, and we destroyed the 200 pounds.
Mixed it with sawdust, he says.
Yes.
Okay, so that's one instance. Bad edibles, tainted edible, wrong mixture.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can take that, dispose of it. Is it a write-off?
No,
not yet. In the future, I imagine it'll be a tax write-off.
Right.
We obviously would have had that story broke here first if you could write off your waste.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. You can now write off cannabis waste.
Allegedly.
Oh,
so,
man. And Steve called. Steve knew he was getting a magic butter machine. He's like, how do I use the
was
thing?
that he baited me in so good, Steve? I salute you, bro.
He was fishing.
That one was for Uncle Bob, man. I lost my Uncle Bob last week, man. Great guy. Big smoker, big edible eater. Hated alcohol, but loved weed, dude.
Sorry to hear that, man.
I was talking to Steve there, and I was thinking, man, this old timer seems cool as shit, man. And you know what? I'm going to give him one in memory of Uncle Bob.
Shout out to Uncle Bob.
Shout out to Uncle Bob, man. We love you, buddy. Bub. So, what if you're using a pest control product on your plants, and it's all good in the eyes of California, and you guys know this fucking happens all the fucking time, and then all of a sudden it goes on the list of banned California products.
Yep.
Now you've got a whole room that you just, sprayed with that. Do you pull it down in week 1 and dispose of it?
Yep, you definitely could. I mean, everybody kind of has their different things, right?
But you guys are equipped to be able to come in, and will you do the work? Will you hack it down, or does it got to be bagged up itself?
It has to be bagged up.
He said, don't look at me like that, Ricky Bobby. I ain't going to fucking pull the scissors out. You got to trim your own weed, fucker.
So they have the trash cans. You just drop them off, or they request how many they need, or do you just tell them, how much they're going to need?
Yeah, so during the initial consultation, we basically walk in there, estimate how much waste they're producing, how many barrels they need, drop those off, make sure they're taken care of, and then come back in 2 weeks, a month, whenever they're full, and then swap them out with new ones, take those away.
So those are 2 scenarios that I mentioned. What are some other scenarios where you guys would be able to come in and, lend a hand immediately?
Yeah, so we work with basically everybody in the industry. So retailers, have returned product, expired product, anything like that.
What is it? Recalls go out?
If recalls go out, leaky pens, things like that. If they don't have deals in place with manufacturers to kind of return them as a credit, we go ahead and take those out.
What's the smallest thing you've ever picked up?
Chad. No, I think
total Chad problem, right?
we had like a 5. We had a 5-gallon little drum once. It had like 2 pens in there and a little flour, and he's like, "It's been here for 2 months. It smells."
Get this
man.
shit the fuck out of here. The manager was tired of smelling that booth cart for the last month.
Just fucking kicking it every time you pass by.
And what's the biggest thing you guys are equipped to deal with?
So as of right now, we have the 55-gallon drums. So we fill those up. You could take 10, 20, 30.
A lot of plants can go in 55
A lot of plants,
gallons.
yeah. We've seen people, like, as we're walking in, they're, like, kind of jumping in there, trying to jam it down as much as they can. So you could probably get, like, 80 to 100 pounds in there pretty comfortably. Fit soil in there. We take that, too. But yeah, pretty soon we're going to be working on getting like those big roll-off bins.
Nice.
They're just not cool for indoor grows because technically the barrels you want to move in and out.
Got to be mobile.
Got to be mobile.
Like Jeffrey Dahmer, right? Oh, that was a bad joke, guys. Jeffrey
Too
Dahmer
soon,
kept
too
bodies
soon.
inside barrels.
It is Halloween.
They were not
It is
easy waste
Halloween,
barrels,
though.
bro.
Those were- Could you imagine the cops when they got to that shit? Like, God damn, someone's got to come in here and pull these up barrels down those stairs.
That's why they lit the place
Not
up.
spill all those bodies.
All the juices.
Fuck, I'm sorry, guys. We
Yeah.
went there.
That's why they lit the house on fire.
Yep.
So the community did, didn't they? I think the community burnt that motherfucking shit down. So primarily, because I'm really curious, what's the primary product that you guys are like disposing of? Is it leaf, trim matter, sticks and stems?
Sticks and stems mostly.
Because people can't use that. They're not juicing that. They're not concreting it.
Exactly. And a lot of these guys, man, you have so much to deal with. The last thing you want to do is try to figure out what to do with these sticks and stems. They just toss them out.
Which is illegal.
Right.
If you just dispose of them like that.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to, anything that's like plant related, and even the biomass after you technically extracted the THC out, it still looks like cannabis, right? So people might pick it up and try to smoke it.
Yeah, we sell it to Chad all day.
Hell yeah.
It's
Allegedly.
oregano.
Allegedly.
It basically is fucking oregano now because there's no psychoactive properties to it. So you're seeing a lot of biomass that's post-run. So you dispose of post-run too. So that's got to be a booming business, the post-run, because that shit's stacking up everywhere. And burning, it's not the ideal way to get rid of it.
No, definitely.
Now let's go over it. What's the best way when you come to pick it up? Is it supposed to be wood chipped first? What's the best way for you to pick it up?
Yeah, so the BCC and MCSB, they require it to be rendered unusable and recognizable. So that's it. You know, we come in, we bring that material for you. We actually had a meeting with them a couple weeks ago, and they told us we can do it on site for you. So we can mix up
An
that
added
sawdust.
step to the process. For
Exactly,
you guys, but
one
a
extra
big
service. Yeah. The only thing we can't do is harvest. So
you're like, we're working on that.
Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah.
Have you ever seen really, really nice flower that you probably, in your mind could have gone to market, but you guys disposed of it?
Oh, for sure. Even they have like box pre-rolls, things like that. Anytime like some dude, if he returned his like eighth that he just didn't like, they have to throw it away.
Gotcha.
If they don't return it to the manufacturer.
What about law enforcement? Do they reach out?
We've actually been trying to work with them because what they do is they just chop it all up and burn it, right? Anytime they raid like the traditional market kind of grows, we told them, we could responsibly take it away, even go so far as like replant trees if it was outdoors, something like that, just to bring the environment back to where it was.
If you find some kind of illegal cartel grow where they're fucking up the entire waterways and the trees, and you guys come through, make it a little bit better. That's a good sale right there.
Yeah, something like that. So I think right now they just don't really trust anyone besides themselves to just light it up. They bring like those big wood chippers and stuff like that. But it's
I
cool.
mean, they're burning it with gasoline. We've seen it. We've seen the videos, guys. Like the people are sitting across from the DA's burn facility, and the DA has to throw like horsehair in the cannabis because people will stand there to get high otherwise.
Blaze it up, party.
That's not the best way to get rid of the cannabis, though. It's a biodegradable product.
Right.
It should be treated as such. It's not a landfill item. It's a product. Where do you think this is going to the point where you guys might be able to take waste and turn it into something usable?
So our biggest thing was we want to start our own composting facility because it's huge, man. Everybody's trying to get into composting. Now the California has rules where restaurants have to throw their food away. So that's kind of a big deal. Paper, that's another big one we wanted to do with the sticks and stems. And what's funny is even the edibles, you could compost these. They're biodegradable, right? Chocolate, gummies.
Yeah.
They take all that. So it's not as sexy as I wish it would be, but, it's good for the environment.
That's got to feel good. At the end of the day, you're providing a service that wasn't there. You're helping grows stay compliant, and you're helping the environment at the same time.
Right.
But it never feels good to throw away weed, man.
Yeah, you guys check all the boxes for sure.
Hurts.
Eazy Cannabis Waste Solutions, hydroponic chef approved. Gary, how can people get a hold of you?
You can go to our website, www.easycannabiswaste.com. Our phone number is nice and easy, 833-420-EASY. Or you can reach us at Instagram, cannabis_waste.
Nice.
All right, so it's a unique service, and you guys are doing it for the right reasons. What do you guys see in 2020 as one of the biggest challenges for growers and waste? That's a hard question, but that's the curveball to end the night with.
Okay, let's see. Hold on, you're playing that music. It's getting me twisted up.
Because in my mind, kinda, it's the ever-changing compliance. Like the second everyone gets used to like the way they're getting rid of waste now, is do they do we foresee any big changes?
We definitely do, man, and that's kind of what is included in our service. We always monitor and make sure we're always being compliant. So if anything changes, we alert all of our clients, we amend all our processes, and just kind of keep that thing going. We've actually seen a few changes so far, and we're going to continue to see it. It's so new.
If someone's got an emergency, they just call you guys?
Definitely.
Offer that number up.
The Waste Guys, that's it.
What's the number?
833-420-3279.
I wanted it to be The Waste Guys, but that
The
would have
Waste.
been too perfect.
We actually have that domain. We were thinking about that name.
All right. Well, are we going to see you at MJ BizCon, one of the biggest cannabis events in the entire nation in Las Vegas next month?
Oh, I'll never miss
We
Vegas.
got to get you guys there. Yeah,
Definitely.
I think you walking the floor there, it would be like shooting fish in a barrel.
Oh,
Because
definitely.
nobody would have really had a service like that. So, as your attorney, I advise you to get out to the MJ BizCon and pass out some fucking cards to these chads who have waste. So, don't be a chad. Get your waste taken care of properly at Eazy Waste Management. And Gary, thank you so much for coming through and giving everyone the 411 on how to properly dispose of their cannabis
Thanks for having
and
me, Chef.
hemp waste. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
My mom, my partners.
That was sick. Well, he's got a tattoo on his arm and shit.
It's right on my chest.
And so we're the show offering you edible reviews every week and interviews with the top brands and names in the cannabis industry. So you can check us out next week. It'll be November. The holidays are kicking off, and we're going to got some new recipes for you, another magic butter machine to give away, and a whole slot of new guests. Happy holidays. Farm to Table Cannabis, DFZ Radio, High Times TV.com.
Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Hook up that hydro make me feel high. Feeling so high. Chefs in the kitchen and they chopping up hydro. The hydro chefs in the building and they rolling up hydro. Hydro's in the kitchen and they cooking it up. Hydro, let's go. Hydro's in the studio. Chop it up, chop it up. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Hook up that hydro make me feel high. Feeling so high. Roll up, cook up hydro. Roll up, cook up hydro. Roll up, cook up hydro. Let's go.